According to a recent poll, if Israelis were voting in American elections, a majority would choose President Trump. CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl tells us what some say Americans living here in Israel are likely to do.
It was a colorful event as dozens of cars driven from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem displayed support for President Trump.
I love you, Mr. Trump. I love you.
I believe that Donald J. Trump is a hero. He's a hero of our time. It's time to say thanks to this friend.
I came first of all to support President Trump, a big friend of Israel, and I came with these flags to thank him for the peace agreements he will bring to the Middle East.
The convoy passed the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem before stopping at the promenade overlooking the Old City.
It's been a crazy year, but it's also brought us Donald Trump and the American administration and things here in Israel we could only have dreamed of.
Mark Zell heads Republicans Overseas Israel that organized the event.
What we were trying to send here is a message to the millions of people in the United States who love Israel and want to see Israel succeed. And we want to show them that we are thankful for what we've seen in the past 4 years.
Trump supporters credit him with doing more for the state of Israel than any president since Harry Truman recognized the independence of the fledgling state in 1948.
And this is a special plaque that we made to give to President Trump himself in appreciation for everything he has done for the state of Israel and the Jewish people.
Those accomplishments in the Middle East are seen as abandoning the Iran nuclear deal, recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital, and moving the U.S. Embassy here, recognizing Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights, and now the regional peace deals between Israel and its Muslim neighbors. Chezi Kugler of Democrats Abroad Israel disagrees.
Let's take the example in particular of Syria. Syria today is an amalgamation of Russian power, Iranian power, Hezbollah, and ISIS. Having a situation like that chaotic situation on the border of Israel, with all our enemies encamped there just across our border, is one of Israel's security forces' worst nightmares.
Kugler says Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden has been a decades-long supporter of Israel and understands security.
Joe Biden was one of the people who was central, really instrumental, in the inception, the building, and the expansion of the strategic relationship between Israel and the United States.
With Biden, he said, Israel would have a strong ally in the White House. There are no actual statistics for the number of eligible American voters in Israel, but Zell estimates there are around 300,000. He predicts half will vote, and most of those will vote Republican. There is one area where both sides agree.
We've also seen quite an upsurge in interest, in registration, and in voting. So the interest obviously is great.
I've been doing this as a volunteer for some 30 years. I've never seen anything like this in terms of outpouring of interest.
According to Zell, even some registered Democrats in Israel vote Republican. But Dr. Ilana Stockman, vice chair for media and policy for Democrats Abroad Israel, believes American Jews in Israel line up with their fellow Jews in the States.
For sure, Jews in general, American Jews are overwhelmingly pro-Biden. There is a lot of reason to believe that American Jews in Israel are not that different from American Jews in general.
Stockman says her group is concerned about foreign policy.
Having an unstable foreign policy in America is, really scary. Making sure that there is clear foreign policy and that foreign policy is balanced.
A poll conducted for I-24 News found almost 19% of Israelis say they would choose Biden, while 63% choose Trump.
I live in the Golan Heights. The reason that I came here is to say thank you to the president, and I believe 80% from the Israelis, they feel the same thing I feel.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Alpha Omega.